Welcome to Mind Shield. We protect the mind and pursue the truth. Let's get started.
So, welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into something kind of unsettling, that super fragile boundary between our everyday reality and unseen influence. We're looking at a reported anomaly, but we're not talking about some massive explosion or undeniable event here. No, it's something way quieter. A subtle, completely ambiguous moment that just kind of challenges your whole grasp on reality. Let's actually start by stepping right into the shoes of someone experiencing this very first whisper.
Meet our subject. Let's just call him Marcus. It's a totally normal Tuesday morning. Marcus is going through his completely mundane, everyday routine. He's grabbed his usual cup of coffee, he's zoning out, thinking about some afternoon meeting, and he's just scrolling his phone. There is absolutely nothing remarkable about this morning whatsoever. It's exactly the kind of day that blends seamlessly into the background of a busy life, you know?
So, he steps out onto a crowded city street, and just picture the sensory details hitting him. You've got the harsh glare of the sun bouncing off office buildings, shadows shifting across the pavement. There's that low, constant hum of city traffic, right? Dozens of strangers rushing past, overlapping conversations. It's this chaotic symphony of city ambience. Honestly, it's the exact kind of environmental noise we are totally wired to just tune out.
But then, right through all that noise, there's an anomaly. A sound he just can't place. It's super faint. Maybe it's a distinct, sharp click, or this incredibly localized, high-pitched buzz that seems like it's happening right next to his ear. Or, weirdly, maybe even inside his head. It's completely untethered from the environment around him. Nobody else flinches, nobody reacts. It's just this fleeting microsecond that totally disrupts his reality. But to Marcus, it just registers as a bizarre little blip.
Then, literally a block later, a really strange coincidence happens. Marcus is walking, silently stressing out about some private, specific detail for his upcoming meeting. And at that exact second, a stranger walks past on their phone and says a phrase out loud. A random fragment of a conversation, sure, but it aligns way too perfectly with Marcus's private, internal thoughts. The timing is so precise it feels almost cinematic, almost like a script.
Instantly, this primal instinct kicks in. You know that feeling where the hair on your arms just stands straight up? He gets this sudden, heavy, but very fleeting sense of being watched. He literally stops dead on the sidewalk, momentarily frozen, just scanning the crowd. But the feeling fades almost as fast as it hit him. The street is just a street again. The people are just commuters. He's not alarmed really, just profoundly unsettled.
So how does Marcus react? More importantly, how would you react? Well, he immediately shrugs it off. He asks himself, is this just stress? Am I just exhausted? He completely rationalizes the moment away. He didn't sleep well, he's had way too much coffee today, it was obviously just an auditory trick of the city, right? Just a random coincidence. He essentially forces himself to keep walking, choosing the comfort of the mundane over the panic of the unknown.
Part 1. The Psychology of Denial. Maintaining Stability.
Okay, let's dive into this. Why on earth did Marcus's brain so quickly sweep that deeply weird experience right under the rug? To get that, we need to look at the psychological realities of denial. This whole situation brilliantly illustrates a core concept in psychology called apophenia. Humans are literally neurologically wired to detect patterns. It's a survival trait. But that also means we can incredibly easily misinterpret random radiostatic or ambient noise or just conversational coincidences as intentional directed messages. Basically, when our brain encounters something it can't quickly categorize, it desperately tries to force it into a familiar pattern. The thing is, without objective proof of a threat, our brains automatically try to explain away these ambiguous sensations just to avoid panic. We vastly prefer mental stability over alarm. Our cognitive biases actively lead us to misattribute things. Like a sudden ringing, oh, that might just be tinnitus. A vague feeling of unease, probably just fatigue causing cognitive overload. We naturally blame our environment because believing the alternative, that something genuinely unexplainable just happened to us, is just way too disruptive to our everyday lives.
Part 2. The Strategy of Ambiguity. Initial Contact.
But what if we flip the script and look at it from another angle? What if we view that exact same subtle, totally dismissible event through the lens of covert operations and harassment tactics? In the context of targeted surveillance, this exact phase is known as initial contact or the reconnaissance phase. Now, let me be absolutely clear here. We are not confirming that Marcus's experience is external or orchestrated. We are just explaining how perpetrators, if they do exist, deliberately use ambiguity in this early phase. It's a stage entirely designed to gather intel and test a target's reactions without ever tripping an alarm. Notice how perfectly these two sides frame the core conflict of this entire explainer. We are maintaining strict neutrality between two completely valid interpretations here. On one side, we've got the psychological reality. Marcus simply experienced a trick of the mind fueled by aphophenia and auditory misattribution. But then, on the other side, that exact same event aligns flawlessly with covert tactics. It could totally be deniable harassment or a staged initial contact, just testing his awareness.
So, the absolutely crucial point here is that this ambiguity, it's actually a weapon. Keeping the anomaly incredibly small and easy to dismiss protects the perpetrator with absolute deniability. Think about it. It effectively delays any official response because, well, you can't exactly call the cops over a strange click or a weird coincidence, right? Plus, it inherently gaslights the target into self-doubt, leaving absolutely no physical or evidentiary trail behind. The subtlety isn't an accident. The subtlety is the whole point.
And that right there leaves individuals like Marcus trapped in this deeply isolating gray area. It's literally the space between madness and objective reality. You are left completely alone with your perception, basically just waiting for the anomaly to either vanish entirely, which proves it was just stress, or to escalate, proving your absolute darkest suspicions. It's honestly like a quiet psychological siege.
Part 3. Gathering objective evidence. The actionable protocol.
So, how do you even navigate a gray area like that? Whether it's an internal psychological misfire or an actual external covert intrusion, the resolution is exactly the same. You have to move away from subjective feelings and move toward actionable protocols. Specifically, the evidence collection protocol. The second an anomaly occurs, no matter how insignificant it seems, you log it. Step 1. Note the exact date, time, and location. Step 2. Describe exactly what you perceived. Was it a sound, a physical sensation, a digital glitch? Step 3. List out your environmental factors. Was the Wi-Fi acting up? Was a neighbor's device running? And Step 4. Note any unusual vehicles, people, or electronics nearby. Logging these events systematically builds a factual temporal baseline. Over time, that data is either going to reveal a pattern that definitively rules out a hallucination, or it'll reassure you that these really were just random, unconnected events.
Ultimately, whether it's just a trick of a fatigued mind desperately seeking patterns or the quiet reconnaissance of an unseen observer, the initial signs are basically identical. They're easily ignored and incredibly subtle. But by paying close attention and actually documenting the mundane, we map the boundaries of our own reality. Because sometimes the smallest signal can be the very first crack in the wall. So I'll leave you with this. If you heard a whisper today, would you ignore it or would you write it down?